I wouldn't mind something that forced me to sit up straight.
I've tried one because my dad bought one and then it was like too small for him, so he gave it to me. And like, first of all, it's like a pain in the ass to put on. It's like, I mean, I'm sure
it's like a bra.
I'm sure it's like putting on a bra every day, but like for like somebody who has never done that before, it's like a process to put it on. And then like you can still slouch with it. Like it doesn't like prevent you from slouching. It just encourages. But it's definitely like a reminder, being like, if you start slouching, it's like you can feel it. You're like, oh, I'm slouching.
It's pretty sweet that like human man's like native position has become some kind of
just
some kind of like embryonic sort of crouched golem kind of thing. I'll do it at work. I'm like,
no, I know.
My muscles aren't holding me up.
Yeah,
it's the like ligaments in my spine.
They're like, hey, why does my back hurt?
Yeah, and then I'm like, why am I?
And then I always see like out in public, I always see those like 80-year-old men that are just like straight up hunchbacks and like their heads are just off. I'm like, that's totally going to be me. Like, that's like
I would like something that's just like a suit of armor torso. like the perfect posture torso.
Tony Stark.
That I like clamp onto me.
Just frozen.
Yeah, and then I'm just
a plaster mold.
I don't have to hold myself up.
Exactly. Yeah, it just does the work for you.
Yeah, the plaster mold.
Like, do you remember Mike McGalley? The guy I used to work with down in LA. Like I guess he had like childhood scoliosis or something like that. So do you
remember when they did those tests?
Oh yeah, the scoliosis test.
It's just like, okay, bend over
in front of everyone.
I wonder if they still do they.
I'm sure they do.
I don't think they do.
I don't know.
I remember it being very public.
It was. That's why I think they probably don't do it.
A line of students.
Yeah, there was the same thing with the lice test. Like I don't remember.
Did they do that on girls too?
No, I don't remember.
Do they do the scoliosis test on girls?
Oh yeah.
It's
not a gender.
I mean, I don't know. We were in the boys' locker room.
That's true.
I don't know what's going on.
But he had like,
I got a private.
He had like a metal.
You guys aren't.
The doctor invited me into the shower for my test.
Disrobe.
Yeah, and I needed.
He told me I needed to disrobe even more.
I wasn't disrobed enough. He couldn't get a good enough view of my spine in front of other people.
More intimate spine.
He said he could fix my scoliosis on the spot.
Yeah.
He told me he knew a few tricks.
Straighten me out once and for all.
Okay, anyways, sorry.
No, it's not a big. I guess he had like a. I think he still. I don't know if he still does, but he had a metal rod installed
under the skin.
Yeah, under the skin. Like so, like it's like and it's fused, or I don't know if it's fused or somehow it's attached to his spine.
Wow.
So he like physically couldn't slouch, and while I was like, that's like kind of sucks, but like also that's kind of awesome at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, that's a little more invasive.
Part machine.
But I just don't know why they just don't make a.
I know. Like I think there's room for it.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
just like literally just strapping like a metal rod to your back.
Some fucking jacket like made out of metal.
Yeah. Just a corset kind of something. I've been using a sit stand desk at work, and that is pretty nice.
Christina has that.
What's a sit stand? I know what a standing
desk is. It's a motorized desk.
Yeah.
It's like I can show you. We have Christina has it.
Or stand.
It's motorized. You just push it.
You can just be you can just switch it.
Yeah. And then she actually just bought a walking pad too. Like it's
that's just a step up too far for me.
That's
you
haven't reached that level
like
yet.
On a treadmill.
Well, she's been working over for like almost 3 years, so she finally.
I think I would rather just get up and walk around the office.
That's what she would do, but it's with it being 110 recently, like she would just go for like morning walks or something.
Yeah, but just gotta walk at like 5:30 a.m.
Yeah, just a quick pop around the neighborhood.
When it's only like 89 degrees.
It's been nice the viewers don't know this, but I've been working in San Francisco.
Yeah, you can't really
in a downtown setting.
Downtown setting.
A couple days a week.
What floor are you on? Like
29th.
29th
floor.
Almost 30.
Nice view of the bay.
Yeah.
But anyways,
do you have an assistant?
No, I don't.
He is the assistant.
I just picture every person in a building like that having an assistant.
I should have one, but not as an intern. I don't get one yet.
Yeah. Sharon.
I'm Sharon. Could you
give me a copy? I need 12 copies of this.
Could you take notes on the latest Savage Goose?
Please wear a skirt next time.
Yeah, could you wear something a little more revealing and also come up with some talking points for my podcast unrelated to this job?
Dinner reservations.
Make me dinner reservations at Chipotle. They still don't take them? Okay.
Yeah. Buy a birthday present for my nephew.
Yeah.
You didn't even give him your name.
They know me.
What's that from?
American Psycho.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, the weather's nice. When the weather's nice, you can go outside, take a lap. I think that people also do the like yoga balls at their desk.
Sitting on them?
Yeah, the like force yourself to.
I would still slouch in those things.
Yeah, standing is pretty nice though. Standing's pretty nice. Okay, the first thing I did, the reason we started was to talk about the people naming their cars, which I've never done.
No.
Have you?
No.
First of all, I go through way too many cars to ever fucking think about that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you have too many children.
12 of the last 14 of
You
them.
would go through a lot of baby
Vanessa.
book names. Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone, I mean, I'm talking about people on the internet, but they're like, meet. One of them was Azul.
Oh, okay. All right.
Was it
blue?
And it was
Shocking.
unsurprisingly.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
it's
color
always
was blue.
like, it's always like just kind of half-assed
Black Beauty.
based on what the color generally is.
Yeah.
It's like really Azul is like blue. And then the one yesterday I was showing you was Phantom.
Okay. Was it purple?
No, it's gray. It's like dark gray.
Oh.
It's kind of mysterious.
It was like meet Phantom.
What is it, like a Tesla Model 3? Was it actually?
Yeah. Just got done. PPA.
Oh, that was that one.
Oh, I
I'm
remember
just imagining saying Phantom in front of anybody over the age of like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, come pick me up. Or do you want me to take Phantom? Dude, stop calling it Phantom in front of me, please.
Like he's going to like pull up to the supercharger. Oh, did you bring Phantom out tonight?
Fuck. Anyways, that one just kind of... that one just kind of... Meet Flame. I think that was another
Although it is pretty sweet. Like I do like when like an actual like super sweet like custom car like would have a name.
Yeah.
Like in like the 80s or something.
I guess that's a good point.
It's like this is Mirage and it's like a
so
Mitsubishi
different.
Mighty Max.
That it deserves a name. Not the most off the assembly line car ever made, possibly. I'm guessing even a Model T had more options than a Tesla does. Naming it. Are you talking about my Phantom?
Oh, I also named mine Phantom.
Yeah. Did you go with the white interior? Well, fuck. Our cars are identical then.
Yeah.
Did you?
Same spec.
Yeah. Did you check the one of two options?
Great spec.
Yeah. Tesla specs are pretty funny.
Some guy got great spec.
Yeah. I was looking at, because they just released a Model 3 rear wheel drive long range.
Wow.
Which I think is pretty cool. It's like the battery pack that qualifies for the incentive.
Yeah, rear wheel drive only.
Yeah, so it's now $35,000 after the incentive with like
rear motor.
It's the only one. What incentive?
The federal incentive, because of the Inflation Reduction Act,
It's based off of battery size.
It's based on the components and where they were sourced.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Tesla sources their batteries from multiple different places, and only their long-range battery pack
comes from North America.
Suddenly qualified. In 2024.
Gotcha.
And so they've been trying to like rejigger their supply chain, which is not a quick thing, but this creative thing was like, well, why don't we just put this battery pack in the rear wheel drive? Because the rear wheel drive does not qualify.
And it's probably their most popular.
I think it definitely would be if it qualified.
Which it now does.
Which it now does only in this form.
Long range.
Only if you add the long range battery pack, which makes it cheaper than the rear wheel drive. If you qualify. Which not everyone does.
You can do that point of sale though. Or point of sale now, can't you?
Only
if it leases.
Yeah, only for a lease. If you don't qualify.
Yeah.
Then you can still get the rebate.
But if you do qualify, you can get it right off the bat? No. That's only that used, because that used one.
You can get point of sale if you qualify, yes.
Right.
You can just do it right at that moment.
Yeah.
But even if you don't qualify, like if you make $500,000 a year,
right, the lease you
can still apply it to the lease at point of sale, which is pretty nice. Right. But anyways, I was looking at it because it was like, a new model. Let me look at it for whatever reason. Like, let me just look on the website. And there's two options. It's wheel and interior color.
Yeah.
And do you want
exterior color.
And exterior color.
There you go. That's 3.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah. One of like 4 colors.
Yeah, but it's pretty funny. It's just like there's no
great spec.
Yeah, great spec. You better really like that.
I mean, I guess that's pretty true for most. Like when I ordered my Jeep, I guess I could. There was like tech packages. So many
they have definitely been moving toward
Honda
packages.
actually has like no packages. I think
they just have trim.
Honda has like nothing you can add to a car besides like
just
dealer accessories.
Yeah.
It used to be so a la carte.
Yeah.
Which I'm wondering if it was something to do with like the production process.
It had to have been.
It was just like, look, it's a guy sitting on the line.
I'm pretty sure
he's got 30 different door handles.
I'm pretty sure on like a 1968 like Buick Skylark, you could get like 12 different interior colors.
Probably.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But even dumb little stuff, right? Which Porsche still does.
The ashtray package.
Porsche, if you've ever like started to spec a Porsche in their configurator, you got to be like very into it because pretty quickly it's just like, I don't care. But you can do like
which gauge faces do you want?
Yeah, it's like, do you want like contrast stitching on the seats? Oh, what color of the like individual little trim? I think the higher end stuff gets worse and worse. And that's probably a big part of the experience. Yeah. It's like, oh, you got an allocation for a new Ferrari, whatever.
Yeah.
Sit down with, your concierge for like 2 hours.
Your interior designer.
Yeah, and flip through the book with like, they've got all the samples and stuff. I think that's a big part of the experience. And then like, I'm waiting for it to be built. And like, you get it. And then like 3 years later when you're selling it, people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't want this.
The fuck is this spec? This is terrible. Yeah, pretty funny. So I was at Starbucks like moments ago before I got here. Pulled over to get gas and a little treat.
Something to wet your whistle.
A little summer treat
I deserve
on this hot day. Yeah,
Starbucks. I deserve a little something. And so I ordered I think it was an iced latte, which is about as basic of a drink as you can possibly get.
Especially at Starbucks. Yeah.
Drive-through?
Especially at Starbucks. No, I went in.
Yeah.
And they put the drink out and it was a mocha, which is like chocolate added, and with like whipped cream on top of it. And I was like, oh, like I don't know if maybe I ordered a mocha. I don't know if I fucked up or I did or whatever. And I was like, oh, like I think this was supposed to be a latte. And I was like, honestly, if you just take the whip off, I'll take it. Like I just didn't want a bunch of sugar. Yeah. I wanted the caffeine, not the sugar. And so she's kind of like scooping it off. And it's just me in there. There's no other customers. And the other guy behind the counter was like, I'll just make a iced latte. Like, I don't care. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, fine. Okay, do that.
Yeah.
And which now that I'm thinking about it, at like the end of that sentence, he handed it to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, isn't this supposed to have like espresso in it?
Yeah,
and
it's supposed to take some steps.
It was just like ready-made.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking,
it's not like it's like lemonade where you just pour it out.
Like a latte is supposed to be espresso and steamed milk.
Yeah.
And I think when it's iced, it's just like coffee and milk. It's just like drip coffee milk and a shovel full of ice. But anyways, he hands it to me and I was like, oh, okay, nice. Like, thanks, man. And she was like, well, do you want this too?
Yeah.
The original.
Throw it away.
Yeah. And I was like, nah, that's fine. Like, I don't really. I thought like maybe one of you. I was like, nah, that's fine. And so she's just like throwing it away. But I was kind of thinking like, you could probably just consistently do that.
Yeah.
If it's a cheap enough drink.
2 for $1.
Yeah, just be like, like I think you got to put the little stumble like, well.
I didn't know if it was me or you.
And I think you also need to like touch the cup. Look at it, like really kind of like lick the cookie kind of thing.
Make it totally
just like, sort of like put your...
Oh, no, that's not what I ordered.
DNA on it.
Yeah, make sure they're just like, this is trash.
Yeah.
But I was like, you could probably consistently get a 2 for $1 just pulling it off.
Unless it's super busy.
That kind of reminds me, I feel like we probably talked about this before, but remember like when we used to go to Pick Apart?
Yeah.
And you would like...
Which is a junkyard.
The like self-service junkyard.
Central California.
Yeah. But like you could like take a part off of a car and whatever it is.
Yeah.
Fucking headlight. And like take it up there and be like, how much is this? And they'll be like $69.95. And you're just like, I don't really want that.
Yeah.
And like I change it, and then I'm pretty sure they just throw it away.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be like,
there's no
which car did this?
Yeah, there's no like there's no like rover
some dude comes out and reinstalls it. Using like fresh hardware.
So it's like I'm pretty sure like any part that like you take off a car and do not buy.
Yeah, there's just
like
a bin.
Thrown into it's just like melted.
Yeah, they just put it in a compactor. That'd be kind of funny if they had like sales then on the discarded stuff.
The clearance clearance rack.
Yeah, like a $1 DVD.
You don't know where. Yeah, you have no idea where.
We don't want to take this back.
Yeah, here's just a random intake manifold.
Then you could just come back like a week later and buy it.
Yeah. The things that we used to value at Pick Apart were so funny. Like how excited we were about badges.
Oh, right.
Stealing badges off cars.
Yeah.
And I think, to be fair, in our day, cars just had way sicker badges than they do now.
Handling by Lotus.
Yeah, we
had so many of those. Yeah. The fact that there was even like enough of those like Isuzu Impulses to like have a collection
handling by
Lotus.
Yeah, I feel like I had multiple. I just had like badges on like my desk.
I swear we probably had like 20 of those.
Handling by Lotus, make a badge. Yeah. What do you think they even did? Like source the shocks? Or something? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they just like sent like not an email because they didn't have like sent like a bulletin.
Yeah,
an Isuzu Impulse.
Like, do you guys check? Will you check this off? Like, okay.
Yeah. Make a badge.
Done.
That's sweet that was someone's job to make that badge.
Damn.
Because there's not a lot.
Like to design it or to physically make it?
To design it.
Oh, yeah.
This needs a badge.
Yeah.
This is going to be your summer project. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not a lot of badges right now. I'm trying to think. Like the Scat Pack one is probably the.
Did you see that? Speaking of Lotus, did you see that video of that Lotus just like eating shit like immediately
at Goodwood or whatever? I saw a screenshot.
It's just like I don't really care that much.
What was it? It was like some special.
Pretty sure it's some like hyper car. I don't really know what it is, but like
something.
Like I usually don't like follow the like whatever internet like buzz.
Yeah,
but it's like literally like as soon as it takes off.
So it's some like hyper
like during the straight.
Exotic.
No, it's like literally like from the starting line. It just like crashes.
What is that event called at Goodwood?
It's the festival or like the hill climb.
Yeah, the hill climb. Yeah. So it's like
which is like. It's a fucking sweet event. Like it probably looks like the coolest event like you could go to.
It is a cool event, and so if you don't, I imagine everyone knows what we're talking about.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't really know that much about it. Yeah. Just that at this festival,
it's at like some like it's at like a lord's like manor.
Okay, there's like a
in his driveway
half-mile little road course, A to B kind of thing. Yeah, loop. And new cars will just sort of
new cars and like historic cars, like a mixture of everything,
just like a show. Yeah. Which is pretty sick. Yeah. That's basically what you want. That's like the Cars and Coffee people leaving in a controlled environment. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, go ahead, let it rip.
So it'll be like Senna's like F1 car and then like whatever like McLaren's new whatever, like it's like a mixture of old and new.
And there's like a starting line and they're like, go. Yeah. And it's like they go down this little strip. Okay, so Lotus made this like
I honestly I don't know anything about the car.
Yeah, something special and it was high powered.
It's something like brand new and I'm sure there's only one of them. And it's like and it wasn't even like a cool like we lost it and like he just immediately
from the start he just like fishtail.
Like he never had
it just like 90 degrees like right just pause and find the video.
Yeah, all right.
And here we go. Oh, yeah. This.
Okay, so
it made about 30 feet.
Yeah, if you're just audio only. So what did he call it?
I don't know.
Evija, Evija.
Oh,
which is terrible.
Bet you that's got a cool badge.
The Evija X. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's like a standing start with like a burnout.
Yeah,
and as he starts, he goes to the right,
just like full, full right,
and crashes. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. The only thing I don't like about the that event is for whatever reason, I don't know if they're like mic setups just kind of suck. It's just like cars never look that impressive doing it.
Oh yeah.
They're just like fishtail, like they're going like 90 down a back straight and like barely have traction. And it just looks like lame and boring. I don't know if they need better cameramen or something. It's just like, he's running the course.
There he goes.
Who cares? It's
I'm assuming like the zoom, like that zoom effect, like when you're pulling out, it like makes
I think it's
look
part
slower.
of that. Yeah, it's like here he comes, and it like doesn't look that fast.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't convey the speed.
Yeah. Like I don't know what it is, but every video I've seen of that, it's never like, damn, that looked sick. It was like that looked worse than if you had described it.
Yeah.
Of like
never meet your heroes.
Mustang GTD 800 horsepower.
There it goes.
That just kind of looks floaty and like pretty funny. How did we get on that?
Handling by Lotus badges. Talking about handling by Lotus.
I wonder if that thing is the badge.
The Avija.
Yeah, badges aren't really like big anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean like the Hellcat, you know, like those badges.
Yeah, Dodge kind of keeps it alive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Mustang Dark Horse. That's the least cool new badge.
Dark.
Dumb looking horse.
Straight on
Long
view
face.
of a horse.
Yeah. Z06 badge maybe.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about the Dark Horse. Kind of makes me like want one more and more.
I think it's probably like the coolest, like not affordable, like sub $100,000 car.
Yeah. I saw somebody, Misha, doing a Nürburgring lap in one, but without any, because I think there's like a package you can get that's like Aero, like Trofeo R, you know, the just like lap time pack.
Yeah.
And this did not have that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still just like, this thing's amazing.
Yeah.
Like he really seemed to like it. And so anytime that guy likes stuff, I'm like, oh, maybe it is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a fairly competent driver on like a crazy racetrack.
Right. Like unpredictable.
Feeling it for the first time kind of thing. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Okay, so this is a Car Bros product review.
Okay,
segment. So I have been pumping up tire. Every once in a while, you just need to like top off your tires or something.
Yeah.
And I've been using a bike pump for like
that's bold.
yeah, just like
Because
it's pretty fast.
Sure.
I mean, it's a crazy chest workout, but if you just need to add like 2 psi, you can put a bike pump on there and just rip for 30 seconds before you get going in the morning. And so I was like, you know what, I need to finally just buy like a compressor. And so I was looking online at like 1 gallon compressors.
Oh, you're looking at like straight up actual compressors.
Yeah, like a little air compressor kind of
Yeah.
thing, or just something. It's like I just want something
A non-portable.
I can just
technically,
not
like made to be port. Yeah.
So I don't know. I was just like, what's the current state of like
air compressors?
easy to air up my tires? It's not a fucking bike pump.
What's Amazon's choice?
Yeah, like let me get into this, and it seems like the sort of there's just levels, you know. But what I thought I wanted was a 1 gallon. You plug it into the wall. Yeah, they have ones that are pretty damn quiet. Yeah, they're like 60 or high 50 decibel, which is like this conversation kind of thing. It loads up this 1 gallon tank, and that's enough to probably do all 4 tires of maybe even 2 cars, 3 cars. Yeah, topping them off. And then I was looking at battery powered ones, like all the kind of big, you know, Home Depot brands, Ryobi and Makita and stuff, all make like a battery powered one
like
of
their
those. Their universal sort of battery system. One of the products is a 1 gallon compressor that you can run, which is sweet too. And my friend has one of those because I asked him like, what do you use? He has a bunch of cars. He's like, I have this. I really like it. But I don't have their... He has their like
system,
torque wrench.
You get
blower,
you get in the ecosystem. Like I have
the ecosystem.
Like I have Milwaukee tools, like the M18.
Yeah, I do not have any of them, so I'd have to like buy the charger.
And the batteries are not cheap.
Yeah, they're not cheap, which is great if you have the ecosystem. Yeah, it's like you've got 3 batteries. They're always on the charger.
You always got one. Yeah,
they're ready to go. I don't have any of that. I don't even have a drill for whatever reason. So I was like, that's kind of annoying. And then I kept getting kind of cheaper and cheaper, and there's ones where you hook it straight up to your car battery.
That's what I have.
Not even like the cigarette lighter, like a car battery.
No, I have the cigarette lighter.
And they're for like off-roading basically. It's like you need to air up and down. But you need something small, or it's like ARB makes this little kind of thing. I was like, okay. But then I was thinking like, how does that work with like an EV? And I mean, I guess EVs still have 12 volt batteries and stuff. And, and so anyways, I kept going down the line, and the new sort of hotness out of China. And when I was going to ask
why that's made, I wasn't sure.
But. Yeah. When I say that, I mean, you'll find a product usually on Amazon, and then it's like all other products,
similar products,
and it's like
the exact same product,
99% the same, except like the color and LCD is different. And the brand name is
something
different.
weird.
This is smart gear.
Yeah, and they all have like 1,000 reviews or whatever, and it's just like, okay, so some factory figured this out, and now there's all these other brands or whatever. And this type of product, if you're audio only, it's like it looks like a power brick
Yeah.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like the size of a soda can with a screen and a little terminal on the top to put like a
Air hose.
Does it have a regular plug?
Whatever.
Plug?
You can charge it
USB.
from USB. Yeah, and then it also has a light on it. And so you turn it on and
What's the brand name on that bad boy?
Lolsa.
Oh, I know.
It was $65.
Yeah.
And you hook it up. It tells you where your tire is.
Yeah.
And then you
set it to what you want it to
just
be.
press go.
Yeah. And it'll fill it, and then it stops when it reaches.
And then it stops automatically when it reaches whatever. And so I was like, this is actually
exactly what you want. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, it's a little bit loud, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But I was like, as long as this, and I never buy warranties, but I bought Amazon's like $12 4-year warranty.
Okay.
So I was like, this fucking thing's probably gonna break. Or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so I was like, awesome. Like, this is actually exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Because, once every like month or so.
Yeah,
especially,
just,
like the start of winter when it starts cooling
it up.
down.
Yeah. It's like, because I've just been using like gas station.
That's annoying.
Whatever. And so this can just like live in your glove box.
Now, can you actually like charge your phone with that battery too?
And you can charge your phone.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And it has like a light on it.
Yeah, a
too,
little flashlight. Yeah.
But, okay, so I hooked it up immediately. Like I got it this morning and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hook this up to the Camry. And maybe it's just the valve stem on the Camry, but as soon as you press go, it'll be like 30 PSI in the tire. Like it reads it as soon as you plug it into the tire.
Yeah.
And then you start pumping it up and it like immediately jumps to like 32.
Yeah.
I think because there's like pressure in the hose.
Yeah.
So wherever it's reading it, it's a little off.
Well, it's just not the true sort of representation of what the tire's seeing. And so it'll stop prematurely and then immediately drop back down to like, it'll be like, okay, 34.
Yeah.
And then it shuts off and then it's like 31.
I was figuring it out.
Yeah. I'm just like
close.
30 seconds into using this. I'm like, fucking really? Yeah. Figure out like,
your tire
like, it's just, everything I buy, it's always just like, well, it's not actually like good at the thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't do what it says
This isn't actually like the good version. That's twice the cost.
Do you think they actually make like a really good version?
I don't. You can't even fucking figure it out because if there even was an original,
there's no like snap.
Typically, I'm not trying to.
What's the American company? Because I've seen
xenophobic of.
I've seen like very similar things like being like ads for it on social media,
Instagram and stuff.
But it's definitely not like a Chinese
No, it's
brand.
not. And the brand that was, I think it starts with a D or something.
Yeah.
Was like $90.
Yeah.
And this was like 60.
Right.
And so I'm like, is that one better? I don't know. Or is this good enough? Or whatever. But it's always just, every time I fucking buy something, it's always just like, oh, awesome. And then I use it. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
It's just
thanks, China.
Simplest, dumbest fucking thing. Like, they're just like, yeah, good enough. Nah, don't solve that. Just put it. And then there's 20 other copies of this.
They're probably all do the exact same thing, or maybe they don't.
And so you don't.
The
market is just full of just crap,
junk.
Just fucking junk. Yeah. Anyways, maybe it's the valve stem on the Camry because they are like metal valve.
I wonder
stem.
if it's this quick disconnect thing you have.
Could be the disconnect because this kind of feels like a piece of shit.
I have one. Mine's not battery powered. I bought this like 5-6 years ago, mostly to use at the track, because like you air down your tires and then you need to air them back up. But mine, it's not battery powered. You can either plug it into a wall, like it has 2 cables, or you can plug it into a cigarette lighter. But you actually physically screw it on the valve stem. It doesn't have that little bike pump quick disconnect.
I'll play with it. Maybe it gets a little better. But this went from being like, oh, perfect. This is exactly what I want.
This kind of
like, God damn it. Is this even useful?
So you have to set it. You'll have to set it to like 36.
I need to verify with a gauge. Like, is that all it is?
Yeah.
I just
need to make an adjustment. Yeah.
Overshoot by 3. But yeah, I was so almost just like, awesome. This is kind of like the coolest thing. Yeah. And I was like, never mind.
Instant disappointment. Well, at least you have a warranty on it for 4 years.
I got to decide if I want to just like send it back or whatever. Speaking of being in San Francisco, in a downtown setting. I've started, I'm only in the city for 2 days a week, and I park not at work. I am in a location 10 minutes from work. And so they have a really good bus system.
The Muni.
I've heard. I have not taken it, despite it being incredibly cheap. I've just been Ubering to work every day.
Well, you got to keep that image up. You can't be seen riding the bus.
Yeah, it is.
You're on the 29th floor. Come on.
Yeah, it is pretty funny just feeling
Pierce
like
and Pierce.
the type of person people kind of talk shit about. Just like,
Riding
here
the
comes
bus.
my Uber, riding in my suit to work. Just kind of like looking out the window, sort of expressionless look on my face while my Uber driver takes me to my office building. Which Uber is just great. I really like Uber as a service. It's just like
It's just so expensive.
It's very expensive. Other than that, than the cost is ridiculous. The bus is $2.50 each way, and Uber is like at its cheapest non-surge price is like 12 plus. I usually tip like $2 or $3. But recently Waymo has opened. They used to just be, you had to be like invited to use the app. And like 2 weeks ago, they just opened it up to the public. It's only in a few cities because they like map the city. It's not really, it's just a different approach to self-driving, but it's geo-fenced and only certain cities. But San Francisco, they have it. And so I was like, yeah, I'll try it. So I got the app. It seems to be about 20% more expensive than Uber.
Okay.
And depending on like surge or whatever, but like Uber will be 12 and Waymo will be like 16 or something. But in my experience, I've probably taken it 4 times now. It is confirming my belief that as soon as this is good and cheaper than Uber, it's like you don't even need a fucking car. It's so convenient to just not only have a car pull up, but to have no one else in it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's your car.
Yeah.
AC, whatever you want, stereo as loud as you want. Like it's just all the convenience of you driving yourself somewhere without having to drive.
Or interact with anyone too. Yeah.
Or fucking interact with anyone. And this part will probably change over time, but the car is generally nicer.
Yeah.
It's not
It's a Jag, right? Is what they use.
They use iPaces, but more just like, it's not their shitty like Amazon seat cover.
Yeah.
Has Uber like loosened their like car restrictions?
I don't think so.
I use an Uber, like I use Uber, so I think I've used it like 4 times ever. But I used it a few months ago when I bought the Type R, just like riding from the rental car place to the dealer. And like the car was like it was like a 2011 or something. Like
a little old.
It's like this thing's
over 10 years old.
It was like this is like a ratty car.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll get something like that where it's like you see it coming, you're like, damn it. But for the most part, it's been like a new CRV or something.
Yeah, that's what I would expect.
Yeah, I think you can get away. Some people definitely like push it. And I was like, okay, this is just like my friend's car.
Yeah, you like, I think your bushings need to be replaced.
They're always a piece of shit. It doesn't matter how new it is.
Yeah.
You're riding around and it's like, I can feel like an inch gap between the bushing and whatever like control arm. Just like going over bumps and stuff. It's like something is loose back here. But yeah, that part aside, because I'm guessing over time all the self-driving cars will start to like smell and be like kind of gross,
a little more human.
And so setting that part aside though, it is such a nice experience and it is better than a human driver. It's not as like competent, I guess, but it's just never going to be an asshole.
Right.
It's never going to like do stuff where you're like,
where are you going?
Okay, buddy. It's always going to brake smooth, accelerate smooth. I've been pretty impressed with it, but yeah, it's a less stressful experience than a human. Not even just because there's somebody in here and like,
should I talk to them? Or should I just be silent?
Yeah, it's just like because it's never gonna,
hello, how is your day going?
Yeah, it's never gonna be distracted.
Yeah,
you can actually just sort of like text, and it's not gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck was that, or something like. It's pretty freaking nice.
Yeah,
and so I just like can't wait. I can't wait for it to scale to the point where it's like half the cost of an Uber or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, just pull up, get me I get in, I don't think about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to tip.
Yeah.
Which is
nice.
Which is very nice. But also you just don't.
So that probably evens out then, since you tip with
It's not
Uber.
far off. Yeah. That was part of my justification is like, if it's only a few
bucks
dollars
more.
off,
That'd be
like
sweet if it still asks
Waymo
for a tip though.
every
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to tip?
Yeah, it's got like a picture of its like family on the steering wheel.
Some Indian programmers.
Would you like to tip the programmers? God damn it. I'm sure there'll be something.
Yeah.
Would you, this ride was supervised by like Reginder. Would you like to like tip him? Like,
15, 18, 25.
yeah. Would you like to tip 30%?
Yeah.
Or custom? But it has been pretty nice. It's just like, given the option, I'm picking that every time.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
There's no.
Is like the wait time the same?
Yeah, if anything, it's faster.
Oh, really?
But I think that's just
The area that you're in.
maybe. Yeah, maybe I'm just getting lucky or something. Because Uber is down to like who is going to accept the ride, and I've never driven for Uber, so I don't know how it looks on their end of like whether they decide or not. So I thought you like don't get to know where you're headed until you pick the person
I don't know.
up or something. But there have been times where it'll be like finding your driver, like, okay, here comes like James.
Yeah.
He's like 3 minutes away, and you look and he's just sort of like not making a lot of progress on the map. And then it'll be like finding a new driver.
Tammy.
It's like, what happened?
Yeah.
And it just made me realize like that's not a self-driving car is never gonna be like, I do not want this fare.
I can make more money going down.
This is not worth my time. I don't want to be in that part of town. It's just there's
That is a bad part of town.
there's just so much about it that it fixes.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, you're just gonna get in some weirdo's car or something. Like I'm really impressed with it. And I don't know who's gonna like win the race. Whatever, because there's a lot of different companies like trying to do this, but I think long run the customer is going to win, because it seems like if many different companies are trying to do this, and once you crack it, it's just like push the lever on like dumping cars into whatever, that's just going to drive prices down. And like I can't wait. I think there is a future that is becoming increasingly realistic, where it's like if you're into cars, you have a fun car in the garage, and the whole concept of a daily driver is just gone.
Except no one's going to make fun cars at that point. That's the only problem.
Yeah, well, you have to pick something pre-2022.
Yeah.
What I mean is, of the existing cars that have already been made,
Right.
you have one of those in the garage, other than like the Miata that survives somehow into like 2050, still using a gas engine. But I just like, I don't want to fucking own a daily boring car, especially if there were levels to it where it's like, do you want the cheapest possible Mitsubishi Mirage experience, or do you want to spend like an extra
well, I feel like if those things were like, I feel like in Vegas, don't they have one that's like just like a box? I'm pretty sure that's like the ideal shape for those things.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
it's literally just like a fucking room that rolls up
like a desk,
like a
smoothie machine.
Or just like it's like super easy to get in and out of.
Yeah,
and
lots
like,
of space.
A nice stereo. Or something.
It's just like a fucking rolling box.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. Like now, I'm even worse wearing a suit going to work, sitting in the driver's seat, blank expression on my face while a robot drives me. Like, I can't even bother to employ
enjoying
the
latest memes.
Yeah, but I was pretty impressed. I really thought it'd be like, and this is actually like not ready for the prime time. Like, this kind of sucks. And as soon as I rode in one, I was just like, I would never choose Uber over this. There's nothing a human driver does better, and I don't feel bad about like,
not tipping.
Sorry, man.
Well, it's been a tight month.
Yeah, or like I see that you've done like 16,000 rides.
Yeah.
Something, like
you're not going to miss my couple
and
dollars.
And you, like you said, you can see them before they pick you up. Like you clearly, like if they take their time and you're like, what the fuck, like
So I don't know. I'm stoked about it. I think it's not a very common view to be excited about. It seems kind of controversial.
Yeah.
It's like some people like hate the idea of this. And I don't know. Some people are going to bemoan the loss of the Toyota Corolla or whatever this replaces. But yeah, I think it can't come fast enough as long as it's cheaper. And I don't think it'd have to be that much cheaper than it currently is to replace a car, insurance, interest on the car payment, gas, storage, whatever. Like, yeah, could be pretty sweet.
I just remember the heyday of Uber. Like, it was probably like 2019-ish. I think it was pre-COVID, but it was like probably right when they came out with the rating system. Like, you could give the driver a rating and he could give you a rating. But like, remember they would like go above and beyond. Like you would get into, they would have like,
there's like snacks.
Yeah, they'd have like snacks and bottled water and like,
chargers.
That's why I think it was probably pre-COVID, because I think COVID,
COVID fucking made Uber awful.
Basically. But I just remember, they like some of them would have like lights on their like
that's right
thing,
like a list of like stereo. Tell me what kind of music you like. Games.
Like,
and
it was all like I think you could still tip them, but like the whole point was like for you to give them a 5-star. Like that was the tip.
They'd have like LED strips. and stuff. Like,
I just remember like this was
so fun,
sweet. And it was like probably half the price it is today too.
I think when that company started, they were purposely losing money to gain market share, and it was fucking cheap to get around. It was like, oh my god, this business model is incredible. Apparently
$4 to go across town.
It's 30% the price of a taxi somehow. And then once all the taxis went out of business, it's like, oh, actually this is more expensive than a taxi. But it's still better. I mean, taxis, I still see yellow taxis
occasionally
driving around, which is
usually like the only place I ever saw taxis a lot was in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas.
I mean, I think it's dense cities, but it's just like, are there still people like, hey, like taxi?
I bet in Vegas there probably is.
Like, there is. Like you can.
I haven't been to Vegas.
Like a lot of them, like hotels can call a taxi for you.
Yeah. But I mean, it used to just be like you just go out in front,
or the airport,
wait for it. Like,
the airport, there are always just sort of people hanging around. Like, hey, do you need a ride?
Yeah.
I'm not even a taxi. I just I'm heading out.
Get my van.
What is the end of mechanics?
Oh, so this was. I don't know. I can't remember if we talked about this before, like in our group. But it's like. What inspired that? Do you remember there was that guy on like there's this like local car group that me and like this Facebook group that me and John are in, which we just like kind of watch for entertainment.
And
there's this guy. He was like, is the same like prior to this. He was like asking about like, does anyone know a good mechanic?
For like a certain brand.
And he was. I don't even remember what kind of car he had.
Some car work.
He was just like, does anyone know a good? Which is like a normal question to ask in a local thing. But then he was like a week later, like the same guy was like, so I'm looking at two cars, and it's like one is like an 84 300ZX, and the other is like a 87 Accord or something.
Oh, okay, I remember that post. Yeah.
And I was just like, and I just responded like neither. Like, if you don't know how to work on cars, and you need to pay a mechanic, like why would you choose
something? Yeah, that's like
either of those cars
for a fun car.
I don't know.
I mean, neither. An Accord's not fun.
Like I don't know. Like it's like a cool car to own or something.
Yeah, but as a daily driver.
But then after that, I was just thinking like I feel like really that whole like kind of like mid-tier. Like mechanic industry is just gonna fucking like disappear like pretty soon.
I think it had like a big bump sort of in recent years because it was like cars got so expensive, people were holding on to cars a lot longer.
Right. Yeah. But then like the labor and the parts have gone up a shitload.
They have, too, and because I remember everyone was like every mechanic is just booked like crazy. They're so busy, but I think over the long term. Cars are also just so reliable, that by the time you
or disposable,
by the time you would like need a mechanic, you just get rid of the car. And I guess there's always going to be somebody out there.
Well, I mean, like there'll always be mechanics for like cars that you really like.
Yeah,
but like like my 2005 Chevy truck like needs
just like I've got my guy that my mechanic who always treats me right. Like you don't even need to like. Outside of an oil change, you literally don't need to touch most new cars
for like
100,000 miles. Yeah, it's like oil and air filter.
Right.
Yeah,
and the oil place can do the air filter.
Yeah.
Like all that is basically left is quick oil change. Places like a traditional kind of mechanic.
That's got to be like getting smaller.
It's definitely
and smaller,
shrinking.
like,
I mean. I know that the places that are good do seem kind of busier than ever.
Yeah.
But I think the sort of like, who's got a guy?
Because in a way, it's kind of like a catch-22 kind of thing where it's like you own an old car that needs repairs, but you can't afford a new car or don't want to spend the money on a new car.
Right.
Which is like, it's kind of like defeats itself.
Yeah. If you can't do your own work, old cars are tricky because I was talking to someone who was like kind of struggling financially. And I was like, well, let's like look at your finances. And they had like a new RAV4 or like a couple-year-old RAV4.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking like, God, get rid of the car. Like I have been driving pieces of shit for like 20 years or something. But then I was kind of thinking, you can really only pull that off
if you know how to work.
If you sort of know.
I mean, there's and then even if you do, there's just like a peace of mind. Like even if you have like whatever, a $400 or $500 a month car payment, it's like there's kind of a peace of mind, just like that. Like I just pay $400 every month.
Yeah, this will not break.
Like this car is
it's
never
not going to break, and if it does, there's a warranty.
Yeah, there's never like this car will never like throw me a curveball.
Yeah, I think cars just need less sort of tinkering with. Like I think a lot of mechanics were like, you know, like it's not running right. Like that just doesn't really happen to cars anymore.
There's some issue that
it's like stumbling on like it's just like, oh yeah, the sensor or something. But I think the kind of mid
and the other and also what I was saying, like just if you think about someone that's like actually like genuinely like poor, like like literally like say like your Camry is like the only car they could afford. And it's just like, my car has a problem and I don't know how to work on it. Like, what do you do? Like, who, like, you have a mechanic and you like take it to your mechanic when you have like no money? Like, you're going to pay someone. Like
they probably just keep driving it and then like just treat the symptoms. Like, fill it up with oil every week.
Yeah, they just like oil. Don't fix it.
It's like like you're going to go pay someone.
Like a friend.
You're going to go like do like a 10-hour bill at like $120
I think that is the problem is when you actually need work done, like certain things I don't do myself. I don't even change my own oil. But I also won't do like brake fluid. It's like I'm not gonna fucking
bleed the brakes,
stomp on the brakes 10 times. Like that whole process is just annoying. So it's like I take that somewhere. But it's like $250. And that's preventative maintenance. And even for me, I'm like,
that's like one of the most basic thing.
It's so expensive now. It'll be like, okay, like to actually fix this problem. And in my experience, mechanics don't like, oh, you're going to need the whatever packet or you're in luck. They are actually telling you, here's a list of shit that's worn out that you should probably do. But that bill is always like, it's going to be like $1,700 or something. And it's like, the labor is like $150 an hour. They're not bullshitting you. It's just crazy. It's just like the reality. So it's like if you own a 2007 Altima, like that's all you can own, and like your transmission goes out. Yeah, you're just like kind of fucked.
The car's like total.
No, the car. Yeah, like totally that's just the end of the life. Like there's no like, why would you spend $3,100 to replace a transmission in a car? Like
it's kind of a like cheat to be able. You can't access cheap cars unless you kind of know what you're doing. You get to even tell what's a good deal or not. Like when I found the Camry, it was like, oh my God, it's been maintained its whole life. Like I could kind of look at that, and despite the fact that it had like 160,000 miles, I was like, this is an extremely good buy.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I bought this Dodge van like a month ago, and like the guy was like a car guy that was selling it, and he was asking like $1,500 for it, and he was like, it needs work. There's like something with the brakes, and there's like a check engine light from a neutral safety. He had all the stuff in the ad. And he was like, please read the ad. Before. So I went and looked at it because it was cool. I went with my dad and we talked to him, and he was like, I'm getting a bunch of idiots messaging me. It's like, all right. It's like wasn't sure if I really wanted it. It's like I'd probably pay like $800, but I don't want to like insult the guy. It's like, okay, I want to think about it. And he was a nice guy. And then like 2 days later, he was like, I'll take $800 for like, I didn't even offer him. He's like, if you want it for $800, he's like, I'm so sick. Cause like people would like,
cause he could tell you were at least the type of person who could buy it.
Well, he was like, people, cause people,
it's the same problem you had trying to sell a different van.
Yeah. Cause like people will see the ad and be like, is this a good van for my daughter?
She's going off to college.
Like, does the air conditioning work? It's like, this is, I'm not selling this as like your new daily driver, but it's like people see a $1,500 van that like looks okay in pictures and like, oh my God, like I need a van.
Oh, perfect. $1,500.
And the guy was just like, starter car. I was just like so discouraged. He's like, just take it. Please, just someone who knows what this is. Just
which really sucks because imagine buying, despite his honesty, still buying it and being like, I just need a car to A to B. And it's like, that's not it. Like you can't get that. I'm going to finally get my Model 3 from my friend.
Damn.
But the Camry is still it's 200,000 miles.
Yeah.
It's like 300 miles short. Mm-hmm. But it's still a good
right.
car.
Still serviceable.
Yeah, it's still totally serviceable. And so there's part of me that's like, do I put even a little bit more money into this and like sell it to someone I know?
Yeah.
As like, hey man, here's
an actual daily driver
for like $4,000. Like this thing is good.
Yeah.
Or do I just kind of like let it go to whoever, you know?
Feed it to the sharks.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously that's probably what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But it is fine as it is, but it's also just, it's so rare to have a car that is both cheap and this actually would be a good car for your 16-year-old son. It's not a piece of shit that's on its last leg. Exactly. It has 200,000 miles. It's not like amazing, but it's not like mechanic special by any means. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's rare. Like I've been able to get away for the last, 2 years I've been driving that, with driving something extremely cheap.
Right.
But most people can't do that. Like they can't have access to something like that because I sort of know how to keep it going or something. So I don't know. I mean, I think the shops that do survive are going to be a little bit more high volume.
Like specialty or they just like got just something like down to science.
They just have a good image and whatever. And the kind of like, because there are some shops I've been to where it's just like the local, like whatever. It's not a piece of shit, but it's like 3 mechanics. Yeah, a shop that's just kind of whatever.
And there are people that like,
and they're expensive.
There are people that like could afford a new car. Like say like I bought, this is like my 2011 ES350 that I bought new. It's like, to me, like it's worth like I'll spend I'll invest $2,500 or $3,000 in this car because I like this car and I'm familiar with it and like I don't want to get rid of it. Like there will always be some people like that. Yeah, but like not the like I'm just forced to drive this car because this is all I can afford.
Yeah, I think it is just going away slowly because of the cost. Yeah, labor has gotten crazy and parts have gotten crazy. Yeah. And it used to be like, we'll buy a cheaper car and that's the cheaper and just like have it serviced. Right. And now that's not even clear. It's like, no, you should probably like lease a piece of shit. Yeah. A brand new, like, Sentra. Right.
Or
something.
$289 a month.
Yeah. $289 a month for 3 years. Yeah. The problem is that is now the economical choice. The problem is people don't do that. They stretch. Yeah. Or their RAV4
or their credit is so fucked up that they can't even like they can't even get like a 289 lease deal.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Yeah. Self-driving car. That's what I mean. If this actually becomes viable, it's like car ownership is just it's kind of in limbo a little bit, I feel, for a number of reasons. Okay, Type R exhaust. So you guys, there's a picture of this. Mm-hmm. There's just kind of this like, trend with tuning because certain new cars, like for example, the Civic Type R is probably the worst offender where it's just so good
from the factory. Yeah, from the factory. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but it's also like, it's not just good, but it's already like kind of like a modded car from the factory. It's a wide body like turbo Civic.
Yeah. They with a big wing.
With like a big wing and like wide.
Every part that could reasonably given attention.
It's got like Brembo brakes and like bright red fucking racing seats. And like a custom fucking suspension. Yeah, like a whatever aluminum shift
arrow. Bright red seats and whatever. Yeah, so a wing. It's already been tuned extremely tastefully.
Tuned and tested.
With like the best quality.
Yeah. Like if your friend bought like a championship white Civic Sport and then like 3 months later had a Civic Type R which didn't exist, you'd be like, fuck dude, you nailed. This thing is so clean and sick. Like nice job. Yeah. So these brands that do exist, and they're just kind of clearly, I don't know why I'm saying this, but marketed toward young people.
Yeah, I think so.
Where it'll just be like, in particular, this exhaust brand. I don't even know what it is. We're just going to put the picture up, but it was full titanium cat back.
Yeah,
it looks like it's like,
and it's been like heat treated,
and it's been all the pipes have been heat treated.
It looks like it's like Nerf.
Yeah. So the whole thing is blue.
It looks like a toy.
Yeah, like they have heat treated it. It's Thai for whatever the fuck reason, and it's like $4,000 or something. And it's, I don't know if you've heard a Civic Type R with exhaust. You can't make that car sound that good.
Right.
Like it's just...
You can like maybe make it a little bit louder.
Slightly louder.
Just be louder,
sort of like whatever. And I'm just watching this video and it was just like, the factory exhaust is 27 pounds, but this one's 14.
Damn.
Or something. And it's just
that's
like,
a 50% improvement right there.
It's just like, I'm just trying to imagine if someone was selling their Type R and they had this image of the exhaust, I would be turned off by that.
Yeah.
Why is the exhaust purple?
Yeah, I would just be like, what?
And the fact that you can't even see 90% of it when it's on the car. It's under the car. So why is it blue?
And so in this video, he's like throwing it to the cameraman and back. Like, look how light it is.
Oh, God.
It's just like, what the fuck is up with... Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Like
there's this weird part of like
the tuning
where it's just like,
I
have to do something to
I have to customize it.
But now it is so... the world of kind of like the Edelbrock carburetor, you know, just like, oh shit, someone makes an upgraded part.
Yeah.
It has become now like, it has to be sort of Instagram eye candy.
Yes.
Right.
Of like, these like 19 by 9.5 wheels are like forged and then milled on like a 5-axis mill with like holes in the spokes and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're anodized blue. Like it's just, everything has to look like some sort of like mall ninja. You know, like this is like the katana with you know like weird blades and stuff. It's like because what can you do?
Yeah,
Honda put big brakes on it. It's like, well,
they're not big enough.
But it's not even that they're not big enough.
Usually,
I'm just saying,
usually like the only thing you can really do is like, if you're really into it, you could do like get something like take it that extra like 20% that they just like couldn't really sign off on as like a mass produced.
Yeah, it's basically
car.
Aero.
You know, like you can like lower it like
crazy
half an inch, just because
like
Honda's not going to sell a car that like will bottom out on every speed bump.
Yeah. But there's not really anything you can do that just for the price makes it better.
Yeah.
It used to kind of be, you know what? They just didn't have the budget.
Yeah.
This thing ships with kind of a piece of shit exhaust.
Yeah.
Like they just didn't have the money to make this exhaust better.
Yeah, they just didn't really think about
like
it.
90s and 2000 cars did not sound good.
Yeah.
Like go listen to a cold start on a Mark IV Supra Turbo. It sounds like a 4Runner.
Just hear
like,
the fan.
Yeah, there is no... I can't even think... Like, what was the first car that even had a good sounding factory exhaust? The Z06 doesn't.
There's probably some like 60s cars.
Yeah.
Like a solid lifter, like Z28. But that's
I more mean like modern.
Like post 80s.
They just did not
Yeah.
put effort into exhaust until like, remember like the SRT Neon?
Yeah.
It was like,
no
because it like didn't have a muffler. That was the first step.
It was just loud.
It was like they deleted the muffler.
Just had a resonator or something.
Yeah. And then like slowly they started doing like the factory kind of valved exhausts and stuff. But it's just, cars were just at a base 240SX. Maybe we were talking about that a while ago. It's not an impressive car.
No.
Yeah.
It's just this foundation for myriad aftermarket support.
Right.
But out of the box, there's nothing about it. There's nothing about it that's good compared to now where the most desirable Civic Type R is going to be a stock one.
Yeah.
Like moving forward.
Taking off the whatever, like 4-pot Brembos to get some like 6-pot.
Yeah, there would be nothing you could do where it's like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like that's a worthy upgrade. And maybe stuff has been like that before. But I don't know. I was just kind of laughing at this. It's like fuck, man.
Well, Garrett, didn't you saw like a bunch of posts of like people trying to get like 600 horsepower out of
I mean,
like changing the turbos.
Yeah, I
like
joined this.
That.
There's like, Facebook groups and stuff for every car, and just like people are on there like, what's the best way to get like over 400 wheel out of the new Type R?
Yeah,
it's like you bought the wrong car. Like you're gonna have like 60 grand in this thing when you're done like changing the turbo and like upgrading the fuel. It's just like, for what?
Well, I think that shows step one was just like, get a Type R. I don't even 100%.
I don't even know if I want this.
Yeah, it's just like, this is the hottest new car.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like,
this thing isn't that fast.
Yeah,
like,
it's not
this thing is not like slamming my head back into the seat. When
you're not going to pull
at that point,
on
just buy a Hellcat or something.
Yeah, like my friend has a Scat Pack.
Yeah.
And this loses to it.
Yeah.
So now I need, how do I go faster?
How can I add like an extra 100 horsepower?
Yeah. Like, I want to win over the attention of people who like the Civic Type R, but I also want to be able to out drag
V8s.
And I want my car to be $10,000 less than I paid for.
And I also want to ruin the resale.
And I want to avoid my warranty.
Yeah. Tell me about off-brand VTEC, because I don't think we've ever talked about
I swear we have, but
yeah, we have. I think
you remember, like,
we can revisit it.
I mean, like, VTEC existed.
So VTEC.
VTEC existed for like a long time. I mean, like since like the 90s, early 90s. Or late
probably
80s.
The most important automotive innovation ever next to the wheel.
But like it didn't really, like, the VTEC like brand became like a pretty big thing, probably like in like 2000.
Yeah, late 90s. 2000.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, this is VTEC. Like VTEC.
Speaking about badges,
and then like, but it was still like, I mean, I don't know. I assume like Honda was the first to have like variable valve timing.
I think on a car,
like a normal
automotive car, we can certainly agree. I'm sure there was some like Ducati something. Yeah, they kind of started the at least reliable mainstream.
Right.
Yeah.
Variable valve time. Yeah.
Different cam profiles.
Yeah.
That actually, that held for a while. I don't even
probably to like 2000, like early 2000s.
I guess others do it.
No, because there's the SR20 VE. That was like not that long.
Yeah, but not in America.
No, but I mean like the technology. It wasn't.
Sure.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. But anyways, like,
I mean, Honda put it on fucking
everything.
like
that's pretty crazy. Yeah, they just sort of okay. Yeah.
But anyways, so like, but probably around 2000, like VTEC became like a big like talking point, or like something you'd like advertise, and then like right around that time is when like other brands like started doing it. And just like
Toyota,
and just like everyone, like you had to have like your own name for it. Like I was looking at something about the Mitsubishi like Galant like VR4,
have like IMEV or something.
It was MyVec.
MyVec.
But it's like, it would like be on the engine. It's like, oh, this is fucking, like, this thing's got fucking MyVec.
Is that even what it was? Was it still lift? Or was it timing?
I don't know. I don't remember this specific. But it was just like, this is our brand. Like,
and it wasn't even like the engineers. It was like marketing drove. What do we have?
Because like it's a very like technical.
I'm getting slaughtered out there.
I mean, like it's an extremely like technical part.
I cannot sell.
It's like we need to fucking brand
without VTEC.
Yeah, this has VVTI.
Families are laughing in my face and walking out the showroom floor.
Yeah.
I tried to explain that it did have a VTEC like system, but
it's not VTEC.
I didn't have a name.
We just do not have. It's a jumble coming out of my mouth.
Yeah,
and they're glazing over, and they're walking over to Honda and asking for VTEC, and they have an answer.
Yeah, so it's forever like from like 2000 to like 2005 and a half. It was just like this very like branding your valve timing system was.
Yeah.
There had to be some other ones too.
Well, BMW had Vanos, but that was not very.
That was like an intake thing, wasn't it?
Oh no, it is cam phasing.
Oh no, I was thinking of like the Corolla A86, like in the 80s had that like Tevis, or it was like
right.
That was just like a butterfly thing and like the
Tevis.
Body.
I thought Tevis was the traction control, but they did.
No. It was something in the throttle body, and it's like you could like hear it. It's like
both the kind of like the GSR had it. It was like you have the intake plenum with runners, and then you had like different runners that would like open. That might have been what Tevis was.
No. Tevis was like the Toyota version of it, but I'm sure like everyone had like similar things. But like,
anyways, it was variable runner intake runners.
Yeah.
And then, but BMW also had one where there was no throttle body. The valve lift was the throttle body.
Okay.
Like the valves would just like not open that much.
Yeah.
And then like as you
accelerated,
I forget what that's called. And I think they still do it. But nothing hit like VTEC.
No. Yeah.
It was just so easy to understand, even if you didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Because they purposely made it like
Turn
Yeah,
on.
no, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
there was like a
here
defining.
comes-
There was a defining moment, like
Yeah.
RPM moment. Yeah.
VTEC. Remember those VTEC? I feel like I swear
VTEC
we
just
talked.
kicked in, yo.
But there's
Yeah.
like the VTEC control.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had one.
You can-
I had one in the
I know.
trailer.
You can adjust your VTEC.
Yeah. It was like I
yeah.
can make my VTEC hit at like 1800.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way slower, but I at least get to hit
I can't
it
remember
every
if
time I leave a stoplight.
I think I made VTEC kick in later, so it kicked in harder.
Oh damn!
Like it probably
You
wasn't.
go early or
faster.
soft, you can go late and hard.
Yeah, you go late and hard. Yeah, it was a big throwback.
I need fine control of my VTEC. Yeah, they just accidentally nailed it. I mean, I don't think they were trying.
They
but it was-
weren't really going for street cred.
whoever came up with the name
Yeah.
fucking deserves like a Pulitzer or something.
Do you remember there was like
Nobel Prize.
those like early wireless phones like for your house?
Oh, yeah.
And it was VTEC like with a CH.
Called VTEC.
that company, they still make like kids toys.
Oh, do they?
Like electronic toys. Kind
I
I
remember
if there was ever a lawsuit about
Yeah,
that.
I know.
of.
We started it.
No, we're VTEC.
Where we're
VTEC.
VTEC.
Fuck. It's such a good name.
It is, yeah.
Both Honda's performance branding of Type R and VTEC are just like, they're just sort of like 80s manga, sort of like gold.
But those are kind of because doesn't my Type R have VTEC still?
Yeah.
Probably.
On like the intake side.
Yeah.
I forget which one it is. I think it's just on the exhaust.
Yeah.
Because with a turbo, it like doesn't matter.
Right.
Because the intake air is being like pushed in.
Yeah.
But they have since just sort of tuned
It's
it's never like,
Yeah.
like,
And do you remember when the K series came out and it was like VTEC? This isn't your fucking grandpa's
this isn't your,
VTEC.
yeah, it was never as good.
This is fucking
Nothing hit like 90s VTEC
No, it
though.
didn't.
Let's be.
Do you have dumb VTEC or do you have intelligent VTEC?
It's like McDonald's when they used to make the fries in like goose oil or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Tallow.
90s VTEC was full fat
Yeah.
fucking VTEC because I
Yeah.
think that they tuned it purposely to dramatically
Be
change
noticeable.
over.
Yeah.
And when
at
you
least
ever-
on the performance.
when you ever,
but there was also like VTEC E. Wasn't that on like the?
oh, that's right. The VX have that efficiency VTEC.
I just remember, like even like single overhead cam VTEC was like a big thing, but then if you had dual overhead cam, you were just like big balling.
Yeah.
That was as good as it got.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tuned it to be dramatic.
Yeah.
Like, bah, like they did it on purpose. That's just the theater that I love.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing.
One of the first things I bought from Kiyoshi's, this was obviously way before you worked there, was
Yeah.
literally like vinyl decals for
VTEC.
DOHC VTEC, and I would like put them on like the fenders or the doors on either side.
Gotta advertise.
Because I had the rear badge for the VTEC.
You gotta let them.
You gotta make it
You gotta
clear.
let them know.
Gotta let 'em know.
Even when they're, when you pull up next to them.
This has what you've heard about.
This
Nobody knows how it works or what it is. But I've got it, and I feel it daily.
This is getting me an extra 15 horsepower.
Yeah, let me hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like a competitor to like turbo spool sounds.
Yeah, it was.
Like I may not have that, but
But
Yeah.
you Americans have V8s.
I have VTEC.
Yeah, and JDM has VTEC. It was a different time, but it hasn't really been replicated. I mean, I think the current VTEC is like supercharger whine,
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Of just sort of like, what's that extra
Blow off valve.
thing?
Blow off valve was a big thing.
Oh yeah, that was big. Those don't really happen either.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff was sort of, it was bad for performance kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was a byproduct of not being. It's just for show.
Yeah.
They just kind of don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They're a little bit too serious. This is also, I don't know why I put this on here. I don't even remember what car this was referring to, but it kind of doesn't matter. Is there a company that's worse about their new product coming out than Audi, where it's always just like, here's the new Q5. and it just looks identical to the fucking previous one.
Yeah, Audi might be the most sterile.
They're so brand. Just conservative. I mean, the cars are cool, but it's just
Tesla is probably more sterile, but at least
they don't advertise. Yeah.
Well, a Tesla's immediately identifiable.
But also when Tesla comes out with a new thing, it's dramatic.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the new truck.
Right.
Yeah. It's like the internet's on fire.
Right.
This is like, here's the new SQ7.
Are you ready?
It's like, well, I don't fucking even know what motor the previous one had. Yeah, I think this came out because somebody said, here's the new SQ5 or something. And it was a picture of it. And it literally looked like
Audi from the last
one of my old bosses had one 8 years ago. I was like, this fucking looks the same as the one that they had. So I guess I would challenge people. Is there a worse brand for this is the new
pizzazz?
Yeah. Did you see that Ford thing? The Capri?
Oh, it's like an EV.
Yeah, something new. Here's the new.
Folks,
this is the new. I went to school with a guy in 2006 maybe at Davis.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Alan.
What's up, Alan?
Yeah, Alan Clark.
I'm sure he's listening.
AC.
Big AC. And we kind of lost touch, but I knew he went to work at Tesla in 06 or something. 07.
Early.
Maybe 08. I don't know. Pre-Model S.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. He went to Tesla or whatever. And I just kind of lost touch with him. Mm-hmm. But I remember thinking throughout the years, fuck, I wonder if he still works there. He's probably fucking millionaire by now.
Check out his LinkedIn. Did you?
Yeah, well, so anyways, I was watching interview with I almost called him Chris. Jim Farley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of the Farley.
What's up, Jim?
He liked one of my Instagram
brothers.
videos.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Carbureau
What's up,
fan.
Jim? What's up, Jim?
Yeah, what's up, Jim? Mm-hmm. Anyways, he was first of all saying a lot. He was sounding a lot like Elon about 3 years ago. Just which is great. He's totally on board with the whole kind of EV train, which I think is good to have a non-Elon figure carrying some water in that realm. But he was really talking about, I don't want to say they're copying the playbook, but he seems on board. But anyways, he sort of revealed something that I think hasn't been getting a lot of traction. But he was like, yeah, we're planning on a either $30,000 or $35,000 car.
Yeah.
Maybe 30. This is going to be a big deal. We're coming out with our own sort of Model 3 moment. Yeah. Separate from, because he was sort of saying we tried to electrify cars that were just sort of gas powered, and it wasn't great. Basically saying we took an F-150,
right?
And we put an EV powertrain, it's kind of lukewarm. And so he was making it sound like we're sort of making something that's dramatically different. And he said 2 years. It's going to come out in 2 years. But he said, yeah, we hired the chief engineer from the Model 3 and Model Y, Alan Clark, to work on this. And I was like, Alan Clark, let me look this guy up. That sounds interesting. And I was like,
fucking no.
I was like, wait a minute.
I know this guy.
Clark, is this fucking the guy from, and I looked on his LinkedIn and it was holy shit, he had worked at Tesla until
for 15 years.
2021 or something. Yeah, just working his way up on all, and it sounds like you got a pretty significant position. And I think he's
How did you know him?
I went to school with him. He's a mechanic. We did the FSAE together.
He's your age, our age, roughly?
He's a little bit younger.
A little bit younger.
Yeah.
Damn.
And just started at Tesla, mechanical engineer, right out of college, and just stayed there.
Damn.
And I think he was I don't know what exactly.
Probably got some stock options.
I'm sure he's doing well, but now he's working in this leading, I think, this Skunk Works, separate Ford entity kind of thing. I was tempted to reach out and go,
damn.
What's up, Alan?
Hey, remember me?
Give me a job.
Yeah.
Please. You've done dramatically better than
we used to be good friends.
You've made better choices.
Do you remember how close we used to be?
Yeah. Get me in touch with Elon.
Look how many views this video has of Carbureaus.
Anyways,
have you seen a funny video?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was pretty crazy, but it also made me think I guess I haven't really heard anyone talking about that. Ford's working on something considerably different that's taking them years.
Yeah.
Despite already having
multiple
like
things.
The Mach-E and the Capri, and like they've got something that apparently they have like a secret department working on.
Damn.
So I think it'll be pretty. It's strange that people are kind of acting like EVs came and went. Like, oh, see, like sales are falling off.
Yeah.
Like it's not there. They tried to push them and it's not working. It's like that is sort of true, but I think that just means the wave is like a couple years delayed. But I think it's sort of inevitable at this point. I don't want to talk about EVs again, but I feel like it's just going to keep going. The timeline just got a little excited, but
we'll see.
Okay, all right, we'll see.
We'll table that.
Yeah. Alan will.
Get some insight.
What time are we at? Is this?
We're over an hour.
Okay, so I think we have a few and finalies. Not that most of this was about cars. But, I was watching the show Billions, which Showtime show.
I just watched half the first episode before you got here.
I thought I started it and I was like, is this good? But it has Paul Giamatti in it. Yeah. And he is just, I always thought he was kind of like this squirrely little, like, he's just sort of, you know what you're going to get with him. He's always going to be very dramatic.
I mean, he's a great actor, but
he just keeps getting better too.
Yes.
And so that show is just good because it has him in it.
Yeah.
And they've given him sort of a character that he grows into. And it has some like legitimately just like, gotta tip your hat. Like he fucking nailed that scene. But similar to Mad Men, that show will frequently feature drinking in such a way where I'm
at the workplace
or just whatever, pouring yourself a stiff drink straight from the bottle kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is set in modern times.
This is modern times.
New York,
And these shows do it to me where I'm always just like, maybe I'm a drinking guy.
Maybe
I'll join them.
Maybe if you've ever seen Mad Men, that one is the fucking worst. Yeah. Because they just drink constantly at work.
Yeah.
And it's always like 2 cubes of ice and
they like constantly self-reference it too. Like in the thing, like, you know, like, oh, it's too early.
They're always talking about drinking.
Yeah, they're always talking about it and like, is it too early? And like blah blah blah. Or like, I'm gonna take a nap on my couch.
Yeah, they're
at
just
work.
Drinking is a huge part of that show and culture or whatever. And so it is also in this show. And just multiple times I'll watch shows like this and be like, I'm looking for a new hobby. Or you know, like
getting into some scotch.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I could like sip on some scotch or you know, like maybe I like a stiff drink or whatever. And I will look online occasionally, especially in that show. I like to watch shows on my computer and anything that happens that I don't know about, I'll pause and just Google.
Yeah.
Like they'll order some, there's a scene where he's like, let me get a whatever. And she's like, that's $800 a glass.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what the fuck
real?
is that? You know, I'll like look
it
up or whatever. And so I went on this little tangent of like sipping whiskeys and stuff. And the way people talk about this shit, they'll like review.
Yeah.
Like
the notes.
I tried the Jennings 18-year whatever. And it's, I want to say it's worse than wine because if you drink wine, you can at least be like, okay, this one does taste quite a bit different than this one.
Yeah.
Like this is quite a bit sweeter. This one's quite a bit, you know, there are obvious variations that even a dumbass like me can go, I kind of get what you're talking about. Where hard liquor, the tasting notes, they're just like, the mouthfeel is just voluptuously creamy. Tasting notes of caramel and just burnt oak, and they just on and on like the worst fucking just at the nose, cinnamon. Nose of like strong cardamom notes. And this has happened twice where I'll be like, I'm gonna buy like a nice bottle of something, you know, like an $80 or $90 bottle of like something. Like I'm just gonna like try that. I could get into this. And I'll fucking, my first drink, I'm just like,
burns, like, just burns.
This fucking tastes like every other straight alcohol drink I've ever fucking drank in my
temperature
life.
Too, like you're like not even.
Yeah, even cut with water. I'm just like, this fucking tastes awful. Yeah. There's no notes of any of the fucking anything that you're talking about. Caramel, like they make it sound like you're drinking butterscotch. Like
Werther's original.
Like, I just want to roll this around in my mouth. It's like, no, this tastes like fucking gasoline. Just like, and I know like, there's probably people listening to this who are like rolling their eyes.
You're wrong.
I just don't have the like palate for it. But I think you need to drink enough of that to get to the point where your taste buds have just been fucking just wrecked to where straight alcohol doesn't light your mouth on fire.
Yeah.
And maybe the notes are there then, but I can't bring myself to punch through that wall.
Yeah.
The alcohol.
I just can't do it. But I watch
trying
these
your
shows
best to become an alcoholic.
Yeah, I keep trying.
Can't get into it.
Trying.
I'm just more into like ice cold beer.
Because every time in these shows, they'll just be like, it's been a hard day at work. And they'll kind of like, and they're just,
whatever.
Oh, he isn't like breathing fire out of his mouth. Like an idiot. Yeah. So anyways, drinking. I just can't do it.
Give it a shot.
I just can't bring myself to do it. Wine is the only thing. Occasionally I'll be like, okay, like a glass of wine, but I'm just too much of a cheapskate to regularly
do that. Yeah.
Buy bottles of wine at the store and just like open one, have.
And then you have to drink the whole bottle.
Then you have to drink that. I mean, that's fine. It's mostly about me being cheap.
Yeah.
I think if I had enough disposable income, I'd have like
there's like a few like whiskey bars. I'm sure there's a ton where you are too, but there's a few in here too. And like I've gone with like a coworker, and again the same thing. Like I'm like everything just fucking tastes the same.
Here's a flight.
Like I can understand. Like some things are slight differences, but I could not. I just not.
The only time you can do it is if you're already drunk. There is a dangerous point where it's like, I didn't taste the alcohol. It's like, okay, great, but I don't want to have to like get
an IV
lit up.
To
then be able to
IV infusion tomorrow.
Just blue. So I was just cracking up when it's like creamiest mouthfeel. I just wanted to roll it around in my. Just taste the burnt marshmallow undertones. Like, dude, this is fire.
I just keep it in my mouth as long as possible.
Just like, savor it.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm still a bitch. I can never work in a Manhattan skyrise.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Maybe a few more years of law school. But.
Okay, didn't you have one?
I have one. Yeah. So mine's actually on a similar note. So I've started occasionally watching those hot ones, like the talk show, the Hot Wings thing. And so I just have like a little thing about the Scoville units rating. Are you familiar with this?
Oh,
that's
like a spiciness.
It's like that's how they rate the spiciness of foods. And so this is just one scale that I think needs to be completely reevaluated.
Do you know what it's based on?
I forgot. I Googled it once and it was like, I have to look.
Is there
it up.
Science behind
There
it?
is, but it's like really dumb.
I'm a spice scientist.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I mean, a lot of that stuff, ratings on this whiskey got a 96 point gold star. Whoa. You want to roll this mouthfeel around.
You do not want to swallow this.
Swish it around. Yeah, one of them was like, I forget what you call it, a dram or something. My friend brought over this. Whatever, Japanese whiskey. I could have sipped on this dram for an hour. It's like, fuck.
Okay, so it's based off of they take the dried pepper and they extract the heat components.
They put it on a Q-tip and
then they
dilute
the solution with sugar water and like a certain amount of sugar water, and then they have 5 taste testers, and so they keep doing that until the taste testers can no longer detect heat. So they take the original source.
Like how long it takes for it to be undetectable.
So the heat level is based off of like how much dilution of sugar water it takes.
So you add a tiny bit of sugar water.
I don't know the exact amount. It doesn't say on the Wikipedia. Yeah, and then you take that and you multiply that number by 100. So I think that needs to be adjusted. Like it needs to be multiplied by like 10 or like not at all, because something that's mild is anywhere between 100 and 2,500. Scoville units.
Oh, I was thinking it'd be like a 1 to 100.
Exactly.
Thing.
Yeah. And so, but something that's medium, like if you have medium salsa at Chipotle.
So technically this could go on forever.
Exactly.
Like a million.
But like something that's medium goes up to 30,000 Scoville units. And then something that's hot goes up to 100,000 Scoville units. And so like they're like having these hot sauces and they're like, You know,
it's 126,000.
They're like, we're going to start off light. Here's a 5,000 Scoville units. And people are like, oh, this isn't that bad. And then by the end of it, it's like, this is like 1.2 million Scoville units.
That's why people say that, like, it's kind of like the opposite of that, but why they say like Fahrenheit is like way better than Celsius.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because like 36 degrees Celsius is like burning hot, and like 19 is like
freezing.
Yeah.
I still don't know metric anything.
Yeah.
I'm so
I know
bad
like the
at
extremes, but but
Fahrenheit,
there's a bigger range for Fahrenheit for sure.
Yeah. Fahrenheit just makes it's just way more intuitive.
Yeah.
100 is hot.
It's hot. Yeah.
Like
50 is like cold, but like not like bitterly freezing cold.
Yeah, I think because Fahrenheit just runs kind of naturally from 0 to 100.
Right, more or less.
And then there's
like occasionally you can go below 0 and you can go up a little bit above 100, but
yeah.
The weird thing is,
I guess if I used it regularly, I'd pick
earthquakes. Like earthquakes is like
magnitudes.
It's like a magnitude. Like a magnitude 9 is like a million times worse than a magnitude 7 or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like orders of magnitude as you go up. Yeah. They need Scoville. The amount of times it takes you to stop crying.
I'm pretty sure like a magnitude 10 earthquake would be like the biggest earthquake like
probably
ever.
That would probably like
where like a magnitude like 6.8 is like pretty strong.
That's pretty bad.
That's a pretty strong.
It's pretty good. But a 7.5, it's gonna lead to a tsunami.
10 would like break California or like Alaska off from like the
and like a 7 would be like, whoa, that was a pretty big one.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just the thing. I was just like, Jesus, because they were like, we're gonna.
Did you get into hot sauce?
No. I'm not like into it, but I was just like watching these videos, and then the hot sauce is like progressively hotter, and I'm just like, why is this hot sauce like? Oh, this is like 264,000 Scoville units. Why can't that just be 264?
I like the fact that there's no upper limit. But that is pretty dumb.
Yeah,
it's like 2 million.
Like how?
How much hotter is that than 500,000?
Like this might be different, but like okay, so Tabasco sauce is anywhere between 2,000 and 5,500 Scoville units. Okay, and that's like Tabasco sauce isn't that hot, but I don't know if this is. It says extra Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I don't know if that's different than Flamin' Hot Cheetos. But what do you think those would be around, Garrett?
If
Tabasco's 2,000 to 5,500.
I guess according to this dumbass scale, like 50,000.
Exactly. Yes. They're 50,000 Scoville units.
Yeah, these should all fall between like crazy hot should be in the like 2 to 300.
Yeah, exactly. This says dragon.
It shouldn't start at
some dragon pepper. Some dragon peppers 2.5 million Scoville units. It's like what?
Yeah.
Like how is that even edible? At that point.
Yeah. Is this spicy? No, it's only 3,000
Scoville units. That's mild,
that's
bro.
Not a lot.
It's weird though.
That's mild.
Yeah.
I like spicy stuff.
Right.
Like generally, like quite a bit, but like never enough to. But I never care about like the like extremes.
No.
Like I'd love to like torture myself.
Right. Exactly.
But spicy to me is kind of binary. It's either spicy, which to me is like not that spicy.
Right.
Probably a 40,000 on this
I'm more like 120,000 kind of guy.
Yeah, or it's like 100.
Yeah.
Like I either want like
just
there is no spice in this, maybe just sort of a hint of it.
Yeah.
Or it's like a little bit spicy.
Yeah.
And those are my two.
Exactly.
That's what spicy means to me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know how you could like really, really, really like super fucking.
I mean, I think it's a combination of you get used to it.
Yeah, I think you just destroy your taste buds.
Yeah,
and then it becomes.
And then you're
normal.
drinking.
So like normal spicy is just like Tapatio sauce is just like water. Basically.
Probably.
Yeah, they think that's probably like a joke.
Yeah.
Where to me, I'm like, no, I don't want anything spicy.
That's just like garlic.
Yeah, it's funny when you go, I think it's like Thai restaurants.
Maybe, and Indian restaurants
maybe Indian,
too.
And they're like, how spicy do you want it? And you're like, I like it pretty spicy. And if you're like a white guy,
mild,
they automatically adjust that to like their mild.
Like mild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten stuff before that's like hot by their standard, not the like crazy stuff.
Right.
And I'm just like, this is good for about 2 minutes.
And then you start sweating.
And then the compounding spice, it's like, well, the rest of the meal is ruined. I can't, like, I like the flavor kind of, but not the like continued burning. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. Well, let us know.
Hit us.
Let us know your favorite scales of measurements. And Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.